Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, my gosh. The questions.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy moly. Some awesome questions.
Got some amazing questions.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yep, as always. Okay, so we have all the names here, and we'll do that at some point. So I don't know what else to say other than just dive right into the questions.
Dive right in. If you're new to our channel,
Yes.
we are TCS Everyday Psychics.
Yes, we are.
And subscribe because you are going to get your socks knocked off.
Yes, you are. And we are at theconsciousspirit.net if you want to know anything about us.
Yes.
And that's a work in progress. It's like everything in spirit time or spirit realm, it's changing and moving.
Changing all the time. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
All right. So let's just get started. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Let's do this.
Okay.
We have Pretty Kitty. She says, hello, ladies.
Hey.
Fellow Oregonian here.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
Hey.
I am full of questions, but will ask this one in particular. How was it that you became aware of your gift? And when or how did you know that you could fully trust the information you received? She says, thank you so very much for the light. Thank you, Pretty Kitty.
Yes. When will we fully trust it? I'm still waiting. Still waiting.
Fully trust
Yeah.
is hard because we're human.
Yeah.
I think we're bent to question.
Mm-hmm. And to doubt our own abilities, even. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say when we are fully in our channel, that's the most trust. I don't think there's another time when I'm more trusting that. And I will still doubt. There are times when I'll be fully in my channel and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and then Spirit will ask me to do something, and I'm like,
what?
And I'll kind of question, like,
yeah.
Or here's one: we're doing something, and afterwards, someone will mention something or whatever, and one of us will go, "Oh, I got that information, and I didn't say it when I got it."
Yep.
So that's all not trusting.
And yeah, exactly. Not saying what we get is part of not trusting,
Yeah.
and it's so
Oh,
frustrating.
it's so frustrating. Yeah.
As
far as I think I was in my 30s.
Okay.
When maybe my early 30s, when I really knew that this was the path that I wanted to take, that it was like, oh, this isn't just something that happens. Like, this is something I need to pursue and do. But I really, I can't tell you an exact moment. I can't tell you kind of like when. That's as narrow a time as I can say. Looking back, I can tell you, oh, wow, I was always psychic. You know, as a child, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was.
Yeah. I, growing up, always knew I had a really good gut. My intuition, I trusted, because, you know, my mom had eyes in the back of her head. She knew things. But back when I was a kid, you didn't talk about being psychic. That was almost taboo. Yeah. So it wasn't really, honestly, it wasn't until I met Pam and experienced her guided meditations, and that I knew without a doubt I was psychic. I am a medium, and I am meant to pursue that for the rest of my life.
I still remember the first time I looked at her and I said, "You're a medium," and if she wasn't already sitting, she would have hit the floor.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it wasn't as much shock or like, wow, this is the first time hearing this. It was the confirmation of it. It was that validation of what you had always known, but you didn't let yourself go there. And we've all been at that stage where you just kind of don't let yourself go there.
Yeah.
At least our generation, where it just really wasn't talked about.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know, there were just crazy people that did this.
Yep.
So still are crazy people.
So.
We just hide it better. All right.
And so thank you, Pretty Kitty.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, Christine Smith. She had the same question. She says, when did you both realize you had the gift? And, of course, how much she loves us.
Aww, thank you.
Christine says, I have so many family and friends that have passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry that you have pain over that, but how beautiful for them.
Yes.
And know that they are well, healed, and whole.
And with you.
Yeah.
They do come and visit you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Ready?
Okay. All right.
We are diving into some fabulously huge questions.
Huge. And yeah. So we're just gonna all right. So this is I butcher your name, and you know I do, and you laugh, and you know it. I mean, we've had a conversation with this particular viewer. So, Mikkel, right? I think, is that how you pronounce it? I can't get that.
You don't get the throat thing.
So, her first question is, why is there a religion? And when we die, does religion have meaning in heaven? Amazing questions. Religion is a man-created thing. I don't know what else to call it.
Entity?
Its own thing. Yeah. And it is, I believe it was created to have some sort of set of rules, and probably at the time that they were created, they were the laws of the land too. I know that was true with like the Bible. I'm not sure about other religions, but it's something that gives a container to us. So we have a real, this is right and this is wrong, and there's also hope in that, and keeps us from kind of maybe doing the wrong thing, and knowing there, it is a form of knowing spirit, and certainly different religions have different ways of knowing spirit and how they do that. But so it's for us, for we humans to sort of have a container.
Yeah. Well said.
Yes.
Very well said.
Yes. And there are so many religions. You can find, if religion is what you want in your life, there are so many that you can find one that really rings true for you.
True.
So, and no, there's no, from what I gather from just through my own experiences with this journey, through speaking with my guides, religion is not in the higher realms. It is in heaven. No.
I would agree, and I say that from my own experience with people who have been in the dying process, people who have died and come back to commune with me. And I know, more than 2 people. I know a number of people who have had death and resuscitated experiences. And they were all different experiences, but they all led to the same conclusions.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going to agree with that 100%.
And I can tell you from, so I work with many, they're called ascended masters, and these are entities, these amazing high vibrational entities who have had major, beautiful lives, usually of a spiritual type, like Jesus, Buddha, Ganesh, Muhammad, just you name it. If they were a spiritual leader of that bigness,
caliber, I don't know.
they are what's called an ascended master, and I've worked with all of them. it's all about compassion and love and for everyone's highest good, and they don't have those rules and regulations and that sort of thing. So it's not the same container. So I hope that made some sense, but I'm not sure. But I tried. I did my best. I did my best, Mikhail. Is that right? I don't know. You'll let me know. Okay. Number 2, why does God not reveal himself to us? He does.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
And
I was just going to say, and it doesn't matter who you think God is, how you perceive God to be. He, it, she, it's there all the time.
Yeah. God, the universe, spirit, whatever your verbiage is for that big grand, that ding, whoops, that energy that is everywhere, within everything. So
it's up to us to allow that revelation.
Oh, there you go.
To allow ourselves to be in the high vibration, to accept the energy of God.
Yeah. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
So, and I had something else and I lost it, but it might come back to me. Does God have a gender? Masculine and feminine. So, God encompasses the masculine and the feminine, and is both of those. God is not a person. God does not have a form.
Agreed.
Like that. God just is and is everywhere and in everything. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And then what does it look like? That would be
however you need to see him. And I say him, in that all-encompassing term.
Right.
Ooh.
Did you ever ask your spirit guides a question and they refused to answer because it was too advanced? Yes.
Too advanced for humanity.
Yeah, is her question. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fred has this look that he gets on his face, kind of like, how am I going to explain that to you? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. I used to ask question after question after question, and he'd be like, and he would try, and I don't get it. It's way beyond
what we
human
can
brain.
Grasp.
Yeah.
There's one instance that just always comes to mind when we're talking about that kind of stuff, and my guide is like trying so hard to tell me, to show me, and I'm just like, huh?
What? Yes.
And then I definitely got the clear message. It's okay. You don't need to know.
Yes. That's where real trust comes in.
Yeah.
That's where real trust comes in.
It's okay. You don't need to know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I was so happy with that. Okay.
Yes. And we do have and can connect with some very high vibrational beings. So that are really close to source and source, God, whatever verbiage you want to use. And it is just, sorry. I don't know what else to say, and I'm not even sure where I was going with that. Okay. Do you see your spirit guides as they look, or do they change their appearance for you? Yes and yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I have Pam and I share a guide.
A couple guides actually, but our main guide is the same.
Our main guide. He comes to Pam most of the time as Fred. He comes to me most of the time as Cowboy. He will, depending on what I need, come to me as Cowboy, or as Fred, or as his true self.
He is an ascended master, so he will come in that form as well.
And he did last night. Pam actually called in Fred for me, and it was
Yeah. So they come in
the
as
beloved. Yeah.
we,
because that's what I
as
needed.
we did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because their appearance will mean something different to you, and so they will. And also, and to get away from just what it is for us, spirit guides will, like if you're just meeting your spirit guides for the first time, they will sometimes appear. They're always the same vibration. That never changes.
True.
That never changes.
True.
But they will sometimes come in, like they'll start coming like a little fuzzier, like you can't quite see them, or they just kind of look like mist or a shape or just energy, just energy. And then as you grow stronger in your beliefs and you begin to trust, and they start coming to you more and more in like more of a physical form, where you can go, oh, I know who you are. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. Is there a spirit that is stuck for thousands of years? Do they feel the time that passes? So, I actually read this question earlier, and so I asked Fred, and he said there are. So, if you're talking about like earthies, which I assume you're talking about, they're never stuck that long. They will always end up, because the guides and mediums, and we're always constantly talking to them, trying to get them to cross over, and they will within that time. Now, the lower dimensional beings who have very little light in them, they can be there for thousands of years, and there are ones that are there for thousands of years. So, yeah.
But the whole time, do they feel time that passes?
No, it just is. Yeah.
And
the closest I can come to this, and this might sound weird for some of you, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Las Vegas.
okay.
It's in the United States. It's a gambling place. It's gamble. They have no clocks anywhere. So you walk into a casino, and there are no clocks. And you have no clue what time it is. You don't know how long you've been there. You might sit down to play blackjack or something. Next thing you know, you're like really hungry, so you go out to eat, and you're like, whoa, it's been like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? That's the closest thing I can come to. How you just, no, there is no time.
There just isn't.
No.
Yeah.
So
great question. Yeah.
Yes. Can you explain in more depth what demons are, where they are, and what they look like? So let me see.
That's
Can you explain? A demon is someone without God. That's a really simple. I have Fred just pulled up behind me, and that's his answer. Every one of them has, no matter how small, he's showing me like so small that I can't even see it, a pinprick of light within them. Every one of them does. But like he's showing me, it can be so small, but they still have some light in them. But the darkness and the low vibration they have cultivated, and they have stayed in fear.
Yeah.
We don't believe in good and evil. We believe in love and fear. So they live in fear. They live in that vibration. And they live everywhere. They live within the lower dimensions, mostly in the lower vibration, the vibrations that are the lowest. So when I'm working with an entity like that, they don't get crossed over into the light. And if you try to get them to, it's a battle, and it's a battle that I certainly can't win. And even I have the most amazing guardians, and it's just not where they go.
No.
Because there's too much work to do with them. But what we do is I can't explain the whole thing right now doing this, and you all would think I'm totally crazy if I did anyway, but it's about giving love to them and trying to get that little bit of light to open up just a little bit. So I feed that light, that high vibration of light, and it almost stuns them at times where they can't even move. They don't know what's happening to them, and so I'm not sure why I went there on that one. What was the question that got me there?
It was about demons.
Okay.
Yeah, where are they and what do they look like?
They look like anything they want to look like.
Yep.
So, yeah, they can look like they can. They tend to, from my experiences, they tend to look as scary as possible. They don't have to look scary, but and that might just be the way, because that's the way I'm bit. That's the way I see them. But scary, and yeah. So that's probably as far as I want to go with that, because I could go on that for a long time, and maybe that's a whole nother video.
That could be a whole another video.
Yes. So and for those of you who might be going, oh my gosh, I have this spirit in my house? Is it a demon? You'll know. You might get fooled for a minute, but no, most likely not. And true demons are very rare.
They
really
very
are.
rare.
Yeah, I've met them, sure, because that's what I do. But yeah. All right. Did you ever meet a person that his soul is like a demon soul? And if not, we meet him. How will you know? And what would you do? So we all have met them. I'm not sure if demon is the correct word, but someone with very small amount of light within them. We've all met really strong narcissists. We've all met psychopaths. They're not just the serial killers of the world, or the nasty dictators of the world. They are also, like I said, people who are narcissists, who absolutely, the world revolves around them, period, and they will do whatever they have to do to keep that world around them all about them, and they think they can do anything they want without anyone's permission. They don't care. It doesn't bother them to hurt people. Absolutely doesn't bother them. It just feeds them. We've all met them. We have all met them. And what do? You run. Just get the hell away from them. Just get them out of your life. Done.
Yeah.
Don't even go down that road. Yeah. It's yeah. But we've all met them, and we all are meant to meet them in our lifetimes. I'm sorry to tell you all, but we're all meant to meet them, because there's a lot of lessons there. A lot of lessons.
And that's
it's
the
part
only
of
way
being human
learn.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
true.
I hope that answered that question. Did you ever have a reading with a customer and the information you received was too sensitive and difficult and chose not to tell them? Or your spirit guides will tell you not to tell? So, do you want to take that first part?
Well, too sensitive and too difficult and chose not to tell them. No. We have an obligation.
Yes, you're about to say exactly what I was about to say.
If a person comes to us and asks us to gain information for them, and we are given that information, we are obligated to give that information to them. We might ask our guides for help in how to give that information.
Yes. And you may not like hearing it.
You may
that
not.
happens. They'll ask questions and then they don't like the answer, but
it's up to them how they receive it.
Yeah.
We can only give what we get.
Yeah.
Without, and it's really important that we don't add our own twist to it.
Yep.
We don't add our own experience, our own opinion. We just give what we get, and it's up to the person who asked us the question to what they do with it.
Yes. Now, when I first started, I didn't have anyone explain to me sort of the ethics or the rules or anything like that. And so there were times when I started out doing readings like everyone I think every psychic starts out that way. And there were a couple of times when I did not give the information, and the guilt I felt after was just awful, because it's not up to me. If I'm given the information, you have to give it. And it's up to the other person how they're going to take it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, the other one, so I did guided meditations, group guided meditations for years. And one of the rules is that between meditations, there were usually 3 meditations a night. And in between, you would come out and you would share. And the sharing was really for yourself to sort of process what just happened, because they get pretty crazy, pretty big.
Yeah.
They'll get into your wounding and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
You're getting information. And sometimes someone would be sharing and I would get a hit on something and I would want to tell them, like, oh, you mean this, or what I'm getting is this. And Fred would come put his hand on my shoulder, and that's his sign of just, nope, not your place. You were not asked. This is not the time. That's not what this is. That person is sharing. They will figure it out or not, whatever, but it's up to them, but it wasn't me. So that would be the time that would happen.
Yeah. I think if it's information, well, and I know this because it's happened, if it's information we're not supposed to get, we're not supposed to give, we don't get it.
Right.
Nothing. Blank.
Yeah.
Blank. Nothing.
Crickets. And we don't go looking. I know some psychics do, but you should never ever look into someone without their permission.
No.
Ever. Not okay. I know your teacher taught you that.
Yes.
And she taught you well.
My teacher did teach me that.
All right.
And down here? I think so.
Sometimes in your videos, she's bringing something back. Sometimes in your videos, you mention that there is one stronger spirit who is in charge, of a place, and the other spirits are scared and abused. Why does God or angels not get involved? How come they allow it? That's a fabulous question. And that's the same question even in our human life. Because we have free will. Because this is what we've chosen to do. We've chosen to have those experiences. Even getting stuck, that's all part of your process, part of your path, part of your journey. And they're always there. God, angels, guides, everyone is always around us. All we have to do is ask for the help, and we'll get the help. And here's another thing. So what I've heard from many healed spirits, those spirits who have crossed over, we call them healed spirits, they'll say, they could all be standing around talking, and one of them will say, okay, I'm going to go to the store, and they leave, and then they come back, and that's like coming into life. That's how quick it happens. It's like your friend just going to the store and coming back. So the suffering, the whatever it is that you're doing in this lifetime, you've not only signed up to do that, to evolve and to learn. As soon as you get healed and crossed over, that's all gone. And you do it again. Because we've all had hundreds, sometimes some of us thousands of lives. So that doesn't mean we shouldn't be compassionate toward people, that we shouldn't try to help people, but we all have free will. We all have lessons and karma and etc. to learn. So I hope that answered that question.
That was a good one.
So yes. So beautiful questions. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I'll let you read now.
All right. So Erin.
Erin
She's given us a couple of questions. And says, I will let you choose if there are any that hit you as being ones you want to talk about.
This goes along with some of this first one.
Yeah.
That we just talked about.
A few aren't going to be about spirits specifically, but since you've mentioned the ascension of Earth a few times, it seems like fair game.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go right to this one where I can see Earth's ascension.
Okay.
If now is really the time of Earth's ascension, does anyone with gifts know how long that process will be?
No.
No. She goes on. Should I read this whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like a sleeper cell if I was meant to be here in this time and have some sort of job to do or purpose for being here, as this all just started coming on my radar the past 2 to 3 years. Shouldn't I have started waking up a long time ago?
There's no should have.
No
Shoulda, woulda,
should.
coulda. Nope. Don't go there.
Nope.
It happened in divine timing.
For everybody.
For
Absolutely
everyone.
everybody.
For everyone.
My toddler-like knowledge. Don't we all have toddler-like
Yes.
knowledge?
I'm with you there.
Yeah. My toddler-like knowledge of what all this means doesn't bode well if there is anything important for me to do. A lot of people around me seem to be even less aware, right? I have a vision of all these totally unprepared people seeing or hearing things that they've never seen or heard before. And being put on medications or hospitalized for mental health issues when it's really part of the veil thinning.
Yep. And that's their journey.
That is. Yeah. We all can't be at the same vibration at the same time. Well, eventually we will be.
Yeah.
But this isn't that time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had another... we're also learning as a collective, so you have to there's also that too. So not only on a personal level, we're learning on a collective level as well. And maybe they signed up to take those medications as again, our little brains cannot know everything. We don't know this spirit plan,
Right.
and the ins and outs and how, it's so complicated. But on a simple level, maybe they came down to help with the process of working out these medications or finding out what they do,
Right.
or whatever. I have no idea. All I can say is that's their plan.
Yeah.
That's their purpose, or their...
That goes right along with too much information for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our little brains just can't work it out.
We can't. But that was fabulous.
Yes, it was
question.
fabulous.
Fabulous.
What I try to remember is everyone has their own life to live. And we may not like it, and it might be scary, and it might be painful to watch, but it's still theirs to live. And,
Their own journeys, their own lessons.
And it's only painful here for a minute, and so,
Yeah.
Oh, you want to read? Whichever one.
So, if we choose, I think we just talked about this. If we choose our lives before coming here, our families, our abilities, or paths, when we die, do we also choose how we die?
Yeah.
Even concentration camps, serial killer victims,
Yep.
or do we just choose the time of death and not the method of dying?
So, this intersects with many of the questions that we've answered. Everything is planned. Yes, everything is planned. And what was there was something we have what are called exit points. Some people think we have 3. I'm a believer in that we have 5, but maybe depending on your life, there's a different number.
And I happen to believe there is no set number. Everybody's different.
There you go. See? And that is those times that, like say you're driving down the street and for whatever reason you stop and a car just blows, but poof, had you kept going, it would have hit you and you would have died, period.
Yeah.
So that exit point was coming up and your soul was like, ding, ding, I'm not ready to go yet. I still want to be here. And you put the brakes on and you're not knowing why. And then, woof. So we have exit points and we can choose. Our soul decides that when we go. So there you go. And how. Yes. And how. And the how, even as horrific as like being in a concentration camp. Oh my gosh. I can't even... My heart hurts for those beautiful souls. But that was planned, and so
again, I think the reasoning is too far beyond what our human brain can comprehend. So
the simplest form is it's to learn for personal reasons and the collective.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. Because some of them, this other question
Yeah.
sort of already feeds into some of the other questions.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right.
So thank you.
Wow, those were some
And I think there was only
big
like
questions.
3 people on those questions. 4 people.
2.
Yes.
Oh no, 4.
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
right.
all
Sorry.
together. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All right. But you're in the drawing. So. Okay. Chelsea. I know you guys are doing from ghost point of view psychics, but can you do other stuff too? Or read futures and stuff? Or do you only specialize in one? I hope that makes sense. It does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
Yes, we can do other things. We're psychic. We can do psychic readings. I do have something to say about the future.
Yep.
But we are bent toward the paranormal and healing. So those are sort of the 2 areas that and they go together beautifully.
Beautifully. Yes.
And we try to stay within our lane on that. Can I do regular psychic readings? Can Mari-Lyn? Sure. But it's not. I tend to think that like Nan, if any of you heard me talk about her, she lives in Sweden. She's a psychic reader. If someone wants a full psychic reading, we send them to her because she's amazing at it. And so we would rather have you go to someone who's bent that way, and it would be well worth your money. And us, I just, it doesn't feel like I'm giving you what you deserve.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then do you want to talk about the future?
The futures. Reading the future. Can't be done.
Can't be done. Sorry.
We can't, nobody can predict the future. What we read as psychics is what the energy is doing right now, in this moment. Sometimes we get lucky.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we don't.
And there's another thing where some people are bent more, say like a Nan. And I've known some other people who can get a little more information out of the energy than we can, because that's the way they're bent. But the future is, we're not meant to know the future.
Right.
We're not meant to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, you're not.
It would keep us from too many lessons.
That is true.
So,
but great question.
Yes, great question, Chelsea. Thank you. Sam
says, my question is something that I always wonder. Orbs.
Ah.
Real form of ghosts or just a dirty lens? And not exactly a question, but I wish to see Mari-Lyn cross over more spirits on videos.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes.
And I'm sure there will be more of that.
Yes. And I'm fortunate that I get to watch her do that 2 or 3 times a week. So, and I sit in awe every time. It's beautiful.
Okay, back to orbs. Real form of ghosts or just a dirty lens?
Sure.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. Bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah. Dust.
What's that word? Residual energy.
Yeah.
Multi-dimensional energy.
Yeah.
So many things that an orb can be.
Yes. I think there are even some, like Mari-Lyn and I, who we don't really even consider that. It's just not even on our radar to like look for that or anything.
It's not. And I think it's because it can be so many things.
Yeah.
I can remember seeing, dust particles. And usually you just see them as dust particles. But sometimes if the energy is just right and the light is just right, they can be...
They look like their own...
big orbs, their own thing.
Their own orbit, like their orb, like a planet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, not either one of us really look for that. But good question.
Mm-hmm. And I know that comes up a lot in ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it does.
So
thank you, Sam.
Yes.
Saint. That was great.
Oh, and random
potato.
And something I want to say to you, Mr. Random Potato. I think you were the one who said something about you don't live in this country, so you can't get a session.
Right.
Not true. We do sessions with people all over the world. The only thing you have to be is over 18. 18 or over.
18 or over.
Yes. And if you're under 18, then have
a parent, legal guardian
with you.
Yeah.
And that's just for legal reasons for us. We just can't. But so
that
you can be anywhere.
You can.
Yes.
And you're in the drawing.
Yes, you are. Because you do have a question.
There is a question, yeah. Okay. Is there any specific feelings you get when you sense them? I'm guessing ghosts. And do they like threaten you? And can spiritual possession... Oh, I'm going to wait. Let's answer question 1 first.
Okay.
Okay. What feelings do you get, and do they threaten you?
Me. They threaten me.
Because she's bent that way. I stay away from those threatening kinds of ones.
She has been threatened on occasion, but thankfully...
Pam's been with me.
So, yeah, it's kind of like... I kind of laugh. It's kind of like you'll see in some of these movies or whatever where they're like in a bar and this little guy, he has to go up to the biggest guy in the room and like threaten him. And that's kind of what happens is they can tell that I have as much power as I do and I do what I do. And so sometimes they'll come up and just try to intimidate me or something. Yeah. So yeah, and we sense them differently, I think.
Yes. And I sense, well, I think you do too. I sense the different types of entities differently. An earthbound spirit, I feel so much differently than I do like a bad dude Pam should be dealing with.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, and sensing, I can feel them, like with my clairsentient. So I might feel them around me, and then I get a knowing, and then maybe I might get a flash of a picture or a flash of a sound, and then it goes to a knowing. My strongest clair is claircognizance, which is a knowing. So I get a picture really fast, and then I just know what that person looks like, or whatever the picture was, I just know it. Same with hearing, but then feeling is a little different, and they're feel to me, because of the ones that I work with, they're very dense, very heavy. And you can almost feel the size of them. Well, I shouldn't say almost, you can just sort of feel. And then, but you,
yeah, my main clairs,
all of a sudden just like be teary, and I'm like, what happened? It's like, oh, she's got someone with her. Okay.
I am clairsentient and clairvoyant. With earthbound spirits, I gotta say the clairsentience really kicks in.
Yeah.
A
lot.
They grab my emotions, which sometimes will shut down the clairvoyance.
Yes.
I get so taken.
Yeah.
But I think those are my two main ones of how I get it.
Yeah. And we'll go over clairs at some point, and everyone experiences clairs differently. Even within a clair, we are both clairsentient, and it's very different for each of us.
Yep.
So yeah, great question.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a part 2 here. Can spiritual possession happen to anything? Like, I have a robin that keeps visiting me and my family. We believe it is one of our past relatives whose their favorite bird was a robin.
So my my personal belief is that we do not change species. So, and I know that in some other belief systems, you can, and so what the hell do I know? But what I think happened is that your loved one knows that you think of them with the robin, so they bring the robin to you.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring that bird to you. I would also look up robin as a spirit animal or robin spirit totem.
Yeah.
And there'll be some beautiful messages there for you. Mm-hmm. Anytime you cross an animal or an animal comes near you or something, I always say, look it up. And because there are specific messages with the specific animal.
Yes.
Even sometimes the different color of a particular animal.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I am always looking up. Oh, what was this? And usually, at least for me, if there is a message that I am not looking into, I will keep seeing that animal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over and over and over.
And if the feeling of that, the robin comes in and the feeling of that loved one comes in really strong, it's because that loved one is there with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the robin was just sort of a shiny object to get you to tune in.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So great question.
That was great. Thank you, Random Potato.
Yes.
All right.
Annalise.
Okay. Question: does burning sage help or hurt a haunting?
Neither. I mean, it doesn't. If you're talking about an entity, so a haunting to me says there's a conscious spirit there. Mm-hmm. The sage doesn't do anything one way or the other. What, however, the sage will do, sage and any other sort of tools that you want to use, or even drumming, so sound, crystals, etc.
Water.
Yes, our high vibrational water that we use. Yeah, it's the intention you set with it. So as you are using it, the intentions that you're setting with it, and it's to transmute the energy in the room. So if it's low vibration, you can change that to a higher vibration in the room. And that's what sage does, what water does, what sound does. All of those things, crystals, etc., is they change the vibration to do whatever it is that you are wanting. But it's really about your intentions.
It is. And I have proven that to myself.
Yes.
Because I have used sage once, and it almost made me physically ill.
Yes.
My sinuses shut down.
Oh yeah, she and I both have bad sinuses, so we can't use any smells of any kind, especially not smoke.
Yeah. So the next time I needed to clear my home, I used nothing.
Yeah.
But my own intention, and
voila,
it was
beautiful.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Yes.
If sage is your thing, absolutely use it.
Yeah.
But remember, the intention behind it is really,
yes,
really the powerful tool.
And what's coming in right now from Spirit is to remember that even crystals, you can change the vibration of a crystal. So
good point.
We work with an ascended master, Melchizedek. You may have heard of him, may not, whatever. But we use him when we need. We don't work with crystals a lot, but we have people that will bring in their crystals and stuff, and we work with him to clear them, and you can calibrate it to any vibration you need. So if you're out somewhere and you really want that whatever crystal and you don't have it, and you look in your pocket, you're like, it's not it. You can change the vibration to that crystal. It's pretty amazing. Yep. And Mel's a good one for that.
Yes, and you can just call him Mel.
Yes.
Because I can't say his full name, so.
Yes.
So great question, Annalise. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Jessica.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about the way spirits are portrayed in movies when they make them so scary and evil?
I love it.
Well, I don't watch those kinds of movies.
Yes, I love anything spooky. So I love paranormal movies. I love all of that stuff. As far as I don't, if you go through, which you all have, you go through YouTube and you look at ghost hunting videos, a demon, there's evil. And so there's this sort of perpetual thing out there that everything is evil. And so for that, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's a real disservice to the earthies.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And even to the demons.
True.
It is
That's
everything.
true.
So, yeah. So it's a disservice. So I don't like it, but I love those movies.
Yeah, but the movies, and I guess for me, what bothers me is when there's a movie, no problem with the movie. But if the movie is based on an actual place, like an actual house or something, and then people take that information from the movie and try to make it real into that house. Yeah. That I don't like.
Yeah. Now here's one. That's one with like some of the ghost hunting ones. The Conjuring House.
Oh, the Conjuring House is a good example.
I can't even think of the moment, but there's some other videos too. At the time that, like, say the Warrens went, there could have been a demon there. There could have been the activity that they said was there at the time. That does not mean that's what's there. I guarantee. Well, it's actually not there at the time now. So that's another thing too. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Good all right.
Point. Thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
All right.
Alrighty then.
Oh.
Danielle.
Whew. Danielle writes, I just recently lost my mother January 9th of this year.
Oh, so
Danielle, I am very sorry.
Yes.
My mother has been gone 4 years this past January.
And mine for a few years longer than that, January. So we've all lost our moms in January, and I'm so sorry.
Yes, our sympathies. Good questions I see here. Does the body in the last stages of life suffer when we are unable to drink or eat due to not being able to metabolize the food? I'm going to say, from what I have experienced in my personal life, suffer? No. No. In the last stages, from what I have seen, the body is already, not the body, because the body is dying. The soul, the light body, is back and forth between realms. So there might be a knowing, but I'm going to say, from what my experience is, no, there is no true suffering right then.
And I'm getting from Fred that there's even if you hear like moaning from the person, and it's more of a knowing. It's a moaning, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to leave this physical body, this physical plane, and leave. And so no, they're not suffering in the way you might think. They're suffering in, I don't want to be here anymore. Please let me go home. But the physical suffering really isn't. So there's sort of this feeling I'm getting right now where you just sort of, it's just sort of there. I don't know how to describe what he's having me feel right now. It just sort of is. It's not a great feeling. It's not a bad, it's just a feeling. I don't know, and it's not fabulous, but it's not like suffering. It's not what you think would be suffering.
Yeah.
I hope that, I don't know.
I hope that helped.
Yes.
Do we feel thirsty or hungry?
Fred just said thirsty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a
Yeah. Your body
Thirst.
might feel thirst, but Yeah, but again, you go into this sort of euphoria thing where it just is. I wish I could explain to you how I'm feeling.
Yeah. I'm going to ask these two together because they go together. Is our hearing really the last thing to go before we pass? Do we consciously hear and telepathically hear when in our final stages? I have to say from experience, yes. I don't know about hearing being the last thing before we pass.
There's again, Fred is working overtime today. There's this sort of awareness is what I'm going to say. It's not necessarily like hearing. It's an awareness of what's happening.
Yeah.
It's an awareness.
That fits so much because I was speaking from my experience with my mom.
Right.
But that fits so perfectly well.
Yeah, it's awareness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, great questions.
Great questions. Thank you, Danielle. And I hope we were able to answer them sufficiently for you.
And we don't know everything. We try. We're doing our best. You guys have some doozies.
Some doozies.
And so we're doing our best. And Fred's here trying to help.
Yeah.
So.
We have another Karen.
Okay.
My mother and I had a psychic connect. Been there. She had a lot of abilities, including mind travel, and I am an empath. Okay. When she got dementia, the communications were very weak and sometimes scary, like panic. I know that. I'm sorry you had to experience it. She has now passed, and I get little to no communication. Will her dementia go with her?
No, and no. That's in the physical realm. That's our physical body. Dementia is. Yeah. I have something. Do you want to?
No, go ahead.
So what I'm being told is that you are. So I can say this. Okay. So for all of you, because you're asking us a direct question, so I can answer it. For those other questions before about abilities, questions asking, and when do you say something and not. You are expecting to receive information in the same way you received when she was here. And it's not going to happen that way because she's not here. So, to try to open yourself up to a different way, the possibilities of that information coming, by being stuck in that lane of it has to be this way because this is the way it happened in life, you're missing out on the beauty of her coming to you and having those moments with you and sharing with you and connecting with you. So she is there to connect with you.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. And one of the things that this didn't come up with a spirit guide thing, but this is perfect time. People ask us all the time, how come my spirit guides don't tell me they're there? How come they don't do this? They don't do this. They. Because it's not they. It's us, we, me.
Yeah.
We have to prepare ourselves in that vibration and open up our minds to them. That's how it works. So it's really up to us. They're there all the time. So I'm not quite sure why, but I'm listening today. So Karen, if you dream about your mom, she's there with you. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not just a dream.
Right. Yeah, she's coming through.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Good question.
All right.
Ooh. Robin Taylor asks, have you ever not been given permission to enter a space?
Oh, yeah.
Woo. That's a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. We just recently actually had an experience where a woman asked us to clear her parents' home. Could you to clear their home? I think there might be activity in there, etc. And she said that her mom gave us permission. Okay. So we get all set up. We go in. Whack. It's like what the hell is this?
Doors closed.
Wait a minute. It was an immediate, nope, you're not coming in. You're not doing this. And so then you have to back out. And there are things you can do. So we called in our guidance and said, what can we do in this situation? And each situation is different. In this particular situation, the house was just filled with love, and we were able to fix some of the grids in the house and to bring in that love and transmute some of the energy. And there was, I don't want to tell you everything because it's not my place to tell you everything, but suffice to say, yeah, there are times when they're like, nope, not coming in. And we never spoke to the woman. It was just her energetically was like, no, I'm just going to tell my daughter-in-law or daughter, whatever. Yeah, go ahead, but I don't really mean it. Yeah.
And she didn't mean it.
No, she didn't.
For whatever reason, fear.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
But that happens. Now, had we physically been there, we have shown up at a house and people have changed their mind. And then we talk to them about what's really going on, how these are earthies, how they could be crossed over. And we've never had someone turn us away at that point.
No, we haven't.
So yeah.
So, yep, it does happen. Whew, really good questions.
I know.
Whew. Okay.
We might have to take a break here in a minute and then,
And then come back?
Gonna come back.
All right, KH says, hi, ladies. My question is, if I'm able to pick up on a spirit in the background of one of your videos, will that spirit pick up on me picking up on them, then be able to communicate or track me down?
Yeah. Yeah. I would not ever suggest that you do that unless you know what to do if that spirit decides to visit you. Yeah. And it's not, I wouldn't advise that ever doing that. There are ways to ask permission, which you should always ask every time. And it's something that we don't talk about, but when we're watching one of the videos and we're going into the home and there are spirits there, we ask permission to be there. We ask the spirits permission to read
to
them,
interact
or
with them.
to interact.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Always.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and yeah, absolutely, they can find you, and typically it would be the ones that you really don't want around you. I mean, they're some of the ones that that need to be crossed over, or that are just sort of being in the house. I mean, there's also the ones that would follow you home typically would be the ones that you really don't want there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I'm going to just add that for those people that, they're walking down the street and they just happen to see an entity. Same thing with the video. You happen to see a spirit is one thing, but really checking out that spirit is a whole nother thing. So
there are a lot of ethics around that we teach.
Yeah. So if you do happen to just see them, let that be.
Yeah.
See it, done. Don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
That sounds really simple.
Yes, but we have a lot of ethics around going in and looking for. A lot of ethics. You are crossing people's free will. You are crossing some lines of spirit that are not healthy for anyone. And believe it or not, spirit can give you your gifts. Spirit can take your gifts away.
Oh,
there's some there can be some karma involved in that. So you have to be careful. All right. Thank you, by the way.
Great question, KH. Ellie. Oh, Ellie. You're too young to go crazy. Okay, Ellie says, am I going crazy? I'm 15 and I've been seeing what I think are shadow figures. Is that more in my head, or is it likely my intuition is right and I'm seeing something or someone?
So, you being 15, we're going to be really, really careful with this because you're underage for us. We want, I think where we need to just, what we can say and probably stop there is trust your intuition.
Yep.
What you believe to be true is true. Yeah. And I'm sorry. I know what that's like. Thinking that, God, am I crazy? What's happening? What's going on? Can I trust this? Can I not trust it? Yeah. And do not go and start Googling things. You will get so scared by the stuff that you come up with on the internet, because people, oh my gosh, the stuff they put on there.
Yeah. And I know Pam already said this, but again, we have to be really careful. Ellie, you're only 15, and you have to be 18 or older for us to really be able to work with you.
Yes.
So unless you have a parent or guardian with you.
In which case, that would be, we'd love to talk to you if you have a parent or guardian. Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah. We'd love to help you out there.
So, and then she wants to know, are you able to read a person by their voice, or do you have to see the person to get a read on them to tell if they have an attachment?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question because I believe there's another person that has a very similar question.
Okay.
And I don't know where it is. We'll end up getting to it. So I'm going to say thank you, Ellie, for the question. And we're going to kind of assume this is to somebody else because I know there's another question in here somewhere. And it's also about a photograph. Can you get information from a photo of someone? Okay, so these questions go together. And when we come to it, we will remember. So, are you able to read a person by their voice, or do you have to see the person to get a read? Okay, yeah. And then, so it's Roxana. You have a very similar question, and you see us connect with the videos. Are you able to connect with photos? So, yeah, we can put all that together, and that way Roxana's actually asking us the question, because they're very close questions.
Yeah.
It's about the energy. It's not about the form in which it comes to you. We're not connecting with the video. We're connecting with the energy. So same with a picture, same with a voice. It's about how you connect. And some people are better at certain things than others. And there are people who really want to see a photo. That helps them a lot. That really helps them tune into that energy, and then they can get information. If I'm doing a reading with someone, I like to know a first name. If they...
I tend to like names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice way. And just a first name doesn't have to be first, last, whatever, maiden, whatever. Just
John Henry Jingleheimer Smith.
Right. Yes. So, yes. And so it's all about the energy, not the form it comes, not the whatever.
The item.
The item.
Yeah.
Thank you. Golly, that's a tough word.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the attachment, that's something different. That comes more from two of us being energy healers.
Yeah.
And yeah. And attachments are rare. That's another one that's rare. People like to think that they have attachments all the time because they want to blame whatever problems they have on, it's I have an attachment. It's really rare. It does happen. It does.
It does.
Sure.
Yeah.
And attachment, they don't necessarily stay attached 24/7 either. They might just sort of attach, and then you go somewhere, and then they go off. So they sort of like hitch a ride sometimes.
I'm going to say that a lot of times when people say they have attachments, they do have attachments. They have an attachment to the spirits that's in their house.
Yes, that happens a lot.
Yeah, and that is so not healthy. So not good.
No, not at all. So, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
So thank you for those questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably do this page, and then I think we're going to take a break.
Yeah. Because then
But
we're
it'll
into
all be
some,
on one video, but we're going to take a break and then come back. But we'll finish these. Okay. Brooke.
All right. Oh. Okay. My question is, those that are connecting with spirits that have crossed over,
Okay, so healed spirit.
healed spirits, and are speaking with, she says, via a spirit instrumental transcommunication device. Basically,
Okay, so
a spirit box.
like a spirit box. Okay. Some of those really annoying things.
Is this a source you are aware of or heard of? And then she says there's one source via YouTube that feels valid to her.
So I had heard of them before, but I never really saw them in action until we started watching some videos.
Same. I didn't know
Yeah.
they existed.
And as far as, I mean, sure, who am I to say that it's not working? I would not put as much stock into it as I think some people do. But yeah.
Yeah.
But sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Because they, just from what I've seen on what we've watched in the videos, they're picking up energy, right? And the energy is coming through the dimensions. So it's the accuracy, or maybe not even the accuracy, it's the completion. Are you hearing the complete sentence, even the complete word?
Yes. I would be curious to have a medium with someone who's using one of those and having a medium there to sort of, and not that and I could hear something different than what's coming from the spirit box, and both things could be true.
That's true, because we have heard different things from the same spirit.
And I also want you to know, because we've said this before and I'll say it again, spirits will lie to you. So they may tell you there's someone when they're not that someone.
That's true. Even if they're not, they don't have to be a bad person.
They just want to tell their story or whatever, but you're going to, like, if you're looking for someone with this particular name, like say Mary, and there's another spirit here and they really want to talk, and are you Mary? Are you Mary? And they'll finally just go, yes, because I want to talk. And so then they'll start talking. So you're under the impression that it's Mary and they just want to talk. Yeah. So yeah, that happens too.
It does.
And that also those boxes can pick up radio waves in the air, all sorts of things. And we learned one thing in one video, is way back when we first started doing this, that those spirit boxes and stuff, any of those things are not considered legal, like in court. Like you can't take those to court and say this is what was said or whatever. Okay. Like there's so, and to me that means a lot. It does. But anyway.
Okay.
Although
a great question.
I wouldn't be legal in court either. So, so there you go. So
my gosh.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Brooke.
Okay, Mr. Lim.
Mr. Lim. Whew, I'm gonna let you read.
Is it Lim? Is that the pronunciation? I hope so. I don't mean to disrespect anyone's names. I am the worst with names, but Mr. Lim. Okay.
Okay.
Holy moly! I have no idea.
Wow.
How many supernatural abilities have been discovered on humans until now? No clue. Lots.
Wow. Great question.
Yes, and probably still some that we haven't discovered. So
probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
How do people sense that somebody might get possessed or not? Possession is really very rare. It is. It does happen. We have witnessed it. It's, from my knowledge, now, please, I could be wrong, or it could be, I don't think I'm 100% wrong, but maybe 50% wrong, is people in a weakened state, meaning that mentally they're quite depressed, or they have some a depression in that time in their life or whatever. they have to be invited in. You have to invite that spirit in for a real possession. We're not talking about just getting jumped. That's different.
That is different.
Just an attachment. That's different.
You notice she's pointing at me when she says that.
I have not had that experience before. I have watched it happen. But a full-on possession, you've invited it. A person has invited it. So what I would say to that is never allow someone to, never allow a spirit of any sort, even a beautiful high vibrational spirit, you never invite them in to your body. But the type that would possess you are tricky, and they are liars, and they will try to get you to believe that that's the good thing to do. But also a space can get possessed in a way, like a home, inside the home, etc. And that's typically, the grids are really messed up. There might be a portal in the house. You continually communicate with the spirit. That is not, you never communicate with the spirits in your home. People get out their recorders, they get out all their little tools and stuff. We've talked about this before. Do not do any ghost hunting in your home.
Right.
Because you are inviting in something you do not want there. So, so to Mr. Lim, I'm not sure if that answered that or not. It's not inviting anything in, not putting yourself in a position where things are coming in. So don't ghost hunt in your homes. Don't ever invite anyone to, like my guy earlier, he was giving me feelings. He wasn't attached to me. He was just, Fred was just having me feel that. He didn't attach. Right. You never have another spirit come into your body. It's just not a safe thing. Right. Your body deva, he, whatever, your body deva, your physical body does not like that at all.
No.
So
doesn't even like getting jumped.
No. There's a story there, but another time.
Okay. Number 3. Are taking something from abandoned premises will cause some good brothers follow back to own living spaces. If this happened, what is the correct steps or ways to ask them to leave?
Yeah, that can. So if you're going to take something from an abandoned building, which is theft, so my first response would be do not do it.
Don't take anything.
Yes. Yeah. But we have been in situations where someone's like moving out of a home or something or moving into a new home, and the people who moved out left some things there, and the energy was really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. Really bad. And we've gone and we've cleared that energy off. So if it's a situation where that, whatever that is, needs to leave the premises, it needs to be cleared of anything. So nothing is attached to it and follow you home.
Yep.
If they do come to your home, call us.
Yes.
Yeah. You can ask them to leave. You can ask them to leave. It doesn't mean they will. But
they might.
Ask them, but they might. Yeah. We've had things follow us home, and they're there for like a second, and then they go back to wherever.
Yeah.
When I first started doing this work, I didn't know how to really do a lot of the stuff that I do now. It's a process and learning, and I'm still learning.
It is.
That would happen on occasion. Yeah.
All right. Is there a thing with certain places have too many fatal accidents? The good brothers need to wait in line for reincarnation to the next life.
No. It's up to you. It's up to you and your spiritual guides. It's up to your council. There are a lot of things that go into you reincarnating. Now, I know, Mr. Lim, you are of a different faith or a different religion. So I'm not sure with your religion what those beliefs are. But so this is just coming from my experience and, what I'm listening to with my guidance right now, is that no, there's never waiting. Not on purpose. Like you're not in a line, like
Right.
you're in a line to get into a movie theater. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
You cross over, you go through, they have you go through a life review, you go through healing, you go through going over the lifetime you just had, you go through all of that, your lessons, what you learned, what you didn't learn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you choose to plan to come back, then that process starts. But you're never like in line. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. I would agree.
So what's coming to me now
Yeah.
is think of how many babies are born at the same time every day.
Mm-hmm.
So no one has to wait.
No.
They can just come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was coming for me was
Great
just,
question.
regardless if you die alone or you die with a lot of people in a catastrophe, you have your journey.
Yep.
Each individual has their own journey.
Yep.
So it's not dependent on anyone else.
Nope.
So-
Not at all.
Great question. Now, he has one more.
Okay.
Okay. Can you share your own culture paranormal taboo?
Oh.
Some Asian countries don't whistle at night because the frequency can attract good brothers. They show up and get
That's
closer to
awesome.
the person.
Sorry. I like that
Or
one.
if you are walking alone at night, when someone or something calls your name behind you, don't look back because they might come take one of your souls away.
Wow. So that would be maybe
Whoa.
our version of like a soul piece, maybe.
So like getting startled,
Yeah.
like if I'm walking alone and I hear my name and I get startled
Yeah.
and I could lose a soul piece.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yeah. Very interesting.
that is very
Mr.
interesting.
So let's start.
Wow.
Yeah. So a paranormal for us, a paranormal taboo would be Ouija boards,
Seances,
seances.
anything in that
Yeah.
realm where you are purposely calling on, I'll say, on the dead in ritual form,
Yeah.
and not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not knowing the proper
The not knowing what you're doing
protocols,
is
the proper
yeah.
ethics, the proper
Yeah.
respect.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have any of like the way that you're speaking. We don't have that kind of thing like whistling at night and that kind of stuff. As far as I know,
Yeah.
we don't have that kind. Those are really awesome. We need to
They
do something where we
are.
have people send in their
Their cultural
yes!
taboos.
Oh,
because
I'm gonna write that down,
yeah,
Mr. Lim. That's
everything
awesome.
I can think of has nothing to do with the paranormal.
Right.
Everything I'm thinking of has to do with our luck in our 3D life.
Oh yeah.
Like superstitions.
Yeah.
But this cultural paranormal taboos,
I love
that. So thank you very much, Mr. Lim.
Yes. I think was there something else? Or was
He's talking about in Taoism culture, everyone has 3 souls.
oh okay.
Um,
That's interesting. Yeah.
Hun and 7 Po.
I think that was just.
Oh yeah, that's an AKA,
Yeah.
and then he has the
Yeah.
the characters. I'm sorry, I don't know the proper name for those characters.
Me either. But they're fascinating.
They are, and they're beautiful.
Yes, they are beautiful. So.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Wow.
thank you, Mr. Lim.
Yes, and I hope we answered those for you the best we could. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. I love learning new things and opening my mind up to. There's
Yeah.
so much today. This is beautiful.
It is.
Okay.
It is great.
Michelle.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So, a few years ago, I was lying on my couch. I sat up and looked to my right and saw a fuzzy gray figure. It lasted for a few seconds before fading away. I kept looking to my right, and after a few minutes I saw it again, but it had moved about 2 feet to the left. It was a little over 4 feet tall. The second time I saw it, I yelled that I see you, please go away, you are scaring me, and I never saw it again. Perfect! Couldn't have done anything better. Did I really see something? Of course you did.
Yes.
I have no idea what.
Nope. 4 feet tall. That's how you saw it. That's how you perceived the energy that was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And chances are it never came back because you scared it just as much as it scared you.
Yes. Yeah. Most likely because it left when you asked, it was some sort of earthy. And that just went on to another house. It was just sort of passing through. Yeah.
Looking for help, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did nothing wrong. You did exactly what you were supposed to do.
Exactly.
If it frightens you, then you tell it to go away. And thankfully it went away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, these are great questions. We are going to take a short break.
Yes. Yes, we are.
And we'll be back in a flash. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Hey. We're back. And full of energy now.
Yes.
So, woo-wee. Okay. Next up.
Question. I have a question.
Yes.
When are we going to do the drawing?
I don't know. Should we do... We could do it now, but then would people, like, tune out? Or do we do it after? Or what? I don't know.
I guess it'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise for all of us. Okay. Okay, next. So you'll have to wait.
All right.
Carla.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, someone is excited about our Q&As.
Thank you, Carla.
We do enjoy them. This one, I have to say, we had to take that break, and it's already been like an hour and something, over an hour, and then we're doing more, so we had to take a break. I think I already said that. But so maybe I'm a little dizzy now. But amazing questions. Amazing.
Yeah, really.
So amazing.
Really amazing.
And some
really
of them
thoughtful.
really had me thinking and like digging back and talking to my guides and like because we don't know everything.
No.
It would be nice to. No, I don't think it would actually.
No.
But
I don't want to know.
But we like being curious too. So these are really things that some of these questions we're really going to be like chewing on for a while. Yeah.
I agree.
So, all right, Carla.
All right. Ooh, how does one get spirit guides? Do they randomly appear to you, or do they slowly try to get your attention? How can you tell they are your guides and not another spirit tricking you?
Ooh, all great questions. You come in with them. So you actually make those, before you come in, you're like, hey, will you be my guide? Okay, shake hands, whatever, like you're contracted for it. You typically have at least one main guide who is with you your entire incarnation. You might have more that are, and then you have some that come in and out of your life here and there. But everyone has them, and so
Yep.
do
Do they randomly appear?
they randomly appear to you, or do they slowly try to get your attention? Well, kind of both and neither.
Exactly. Well,
that's one of those all and nothing, or all or not, or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Randomly appear, I'm going to say no.
Right.
They don't randomly appear.
Nothing is random.
Although it can feel...
Yes, it can...
It can feel very random.
Yep.
But they appear...
I think we kind of talked about this
when
earlier.
we're ready
Yes,
to see them.
when we're ready to see them. And then even with that, they sort of slowly, I think we talked about it earlier, they'll kind of come in and they're a little, they might be a little fuzzy at first, or they might come in as just sort of energy, or maybe you just feel them. You don't see them at all, or whatever. I know when we teach getting to know your guides, our first step is always get to know their feeling, get to know their vibration.
How it feels.
Yeah.
Yep. Because that is something you can always trust.
Always.
You can always trust that feeling.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that goes right along with how can you tell they're your guides and not another spirit tricking you?
They are of very high vibration, and it's love, and that's what you will feel. You will feel love. You will not feel that love from any other spirit. It feels love right in your heart space. It's not from out here at all. So that's one thing with spirits, with earthies, whatever you're dealing with, the energy is outside of you. Your guides, you feel it inside of you.
Inside, yeah.
Thanks, Fred.
Yep.
You just gave me that one.
Yep.
Yep. So that's how you know.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Do our loved ones visit us years after passing? Also, what are some ways in which they show up? My dad passed 10 years ago. I dream about him. That's one way.
That's one way.
Maybe 4 to 5 times a year. I remember when he passed, he used to visit us often. We associated him with a very unique incense smell. Yep, that's another way.
Another one. That's a powerful one.
We smelled it in the night he passed, a few other times in the house, and one time at the cemetery where he was buried, which is in a different state to where he passed. Interesting. But it was probably 8 years since the last time I sensed him, so I wonder if my dad is actually in my dreams or if it is just a replay of a core memory. I wish he would show up in smell again.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So, this is where my opinion can differ with other people's opinions. So, if you don't like what I say, just go, oh, okay, yeah, there's someone else that has a different opinion. So, just throw it away. Different spirits do... So, this is about them coming to you years after they passed. What I have experienced the most of is once they reincarnate, the life that they had before is kind of the life they had before. And though their higher self is still in spirit, and they could still kind of come around, it's not the same. It's not that same conscious. So I will experience, the way I experience that is if they excuse me, if they have not reincarnated, they will come and you feel them. You know that's them. You might get that smell or whatever, and it's them. Once they reincarnate, the way they come to you is their higher self, and it's a different vibration, and it's a different feel, and you don't feel that same necessarily connection with them. However, they will come in your dreams more, just like they were in life. So, yeah, that's a really...
I think that different feeling that you were just talking about, when that feeling changes, because I know exactly what that is, I had to change my perspective.
Yes.
I had to change my expectations. I had to change how I was willing to accept.
Yes.
And once you can allow yourself to accept that spirit the way that it's coming to you, it's just as fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Yeah, and sometimes, they have their path too, and they have things that they need to heal, they need to learn from, etc. So once that healing piece is done between you and that person, if from where they're concerned, sometimes they stop coming around, because what's for your highest good is to stop relying on that connection, or
Yeah.
like sometimes it's not for your highest good to stay connected to that person who has crossed over. Sometimes it really isn't.
Sometimes it isn't. And
Yeah.
that can be really hard to understand.
Yeah.
I know.
It's hard to hear. Mm-hmm.
But it is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But when he comes to your dreams,
Yeah.
that's not
No.
your imagination.
No, not at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
He is there.
Okay. And the smell, woof, the smell, that's a huge one.
Oh, that is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I am going to say I have experienced my grandfather through the smell of cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And that was probably, let's see. I've been married 30. I'm going to say he passed probably 35 years ago. And it was within the past year that he came to me. So that smell, when you least expect it, it will have meaning to it. There will be a message behind it.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you get that again.
At that point, that many years later, whether he has incarnated or not again, which most likely he has in that much time, there was something that he needed to finish or talk about or mess or something with Mari-Lyn that many years later. And that's when they come in. And it is pretty wonderful. Yeah.
Very, very wonderful.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I think we just answered her next question.
Oh.
This question connects to my last. I believe in reincarnation. So if my dad has moved on to a new human life, would I still be getting visits from him? Even though in 3D he wouldn't be my dad anymore, but another human or animal being with a different life. I would love to hear your thoughts, beliefs, and maybe your guide's explanation. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to us. So I do believe you just answered her third question. Please, are you psychic, Pam?
I don't know. People say I am, but I don't know. So what is really being reiterated?
Okay.
Woo, there's a word to me right now is that it's about the spirit. We take regret with us. That's what we take with us. And that's what we're trying to heal even after we cross over and we get healed. It's the regret, because the regret is where the lessons are. So like Mari-Lyn, they will come back to you as those things need to be healed. Now, if there's something within you that there's some regret there and you are just now deciding that you're going to look at that, or right now it's time to be healed or something, they will come in at that time too. But just, it's not, there's typically a purpose to them being there. There's a purpose. So you could go years without any contact because there's not a purpose to that. And you're meant to be here living this 3D life, not connected constantly to that person in spirit. So they back off so you can live your life. And maybe having that sorrow and learning about death, and this person is gone from 3D, but maybe that's your lesson that you have to learn, so they have to stay away. So there's always a reason, and it's always for your highest good. Always for your highest good, to remember that. Yeah.
Always. So fabulous. So I noticed during that conversation, our light was fluctuating. And I'm kind of curious as to why.
I don't know.
I don't know. Could be the sun moving around. I don't know. Just had to throw that out there.
Could be spirits in there, too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carla.
Yes.
That's great questions.
Oh. Okay. Billy Dre. Can people share a primary spirit guide? Yep. And typically, like if they're ascended masters, they will have like thousands or millions even. I don't even know how many each of them can have. Fred's going,
my brain can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like and they can be everywhere at the same time. So you're never bothering them or anything. But yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We do.
We do. Can guys be very non-human? They can be animals. They can be fairies. They can be angels. They can be spirits of the earth. We have some of those.
Yeah.
I have some.
Oh, yeah.
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 My paranormal team, my light guardians, they've never had a human life here. So yeah, if that's what you're asking, if that's where I went with that question. So that was that question.
Yep. My healing team has never had a human life.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, as in a golem. Okay. Creature.
Smeagol? I don't
creature that was very peaceful and didn't seem to be threatening in a way. Oh, so you had like one of these come to, like that type of. I would say okay, so what's coming now is those are creatures of the earth. Those are spirit, I should say spirit, not creatures. Those are spirits of
the earth.
Of the earth. And absolutely, they can be guides. Typically, they're not your main guide. They're not a guide that's going to be with you your whole life. They will come in and out as needed. And when you need them, that's usually more typical with that. And
yeah, of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ethics.
Good question.
Good question.
And we touched on this a little bit earlier.
Because ethics are at the heart of what we do. What are the ethics of helping? For example, we've seen people who have been very unhealthy attachments to the spirits in their location, and they want to keep the spirits there to study or monetary gain. Not okay. In these instances, you guys can't help cross over, but if in this location spirits want to cross over, do their wishes trump the earthly property owners? Yes.
Yes, they do.
We have to be invited by someone. We have to be at either the spirit can ask us or the person who owns the property has to ask us. It's like the same thing as like you can't just walk into anybody's home.
Right? It's like if you're in a hotel and you're walking down a hallway and all the hotel room doors are open, you're not going to just go start walking into people's
Well, you
rooms.
might not, but I might. Start shuffling through their stuff.
I'm not going to, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. But it's the same.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing of having to be invited in.
And now, sorry.
But yes, the spirit always trumps. Always. 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 Always.
And when you are psychic, medium, have whatever abilities, you're a healer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they are drawn to you because you're brighter and you sort of have this beacon around you. So they will come. Yeah. Okay. On another example for the Hinsdale house, the land has indigenous attachments, a very strong tribal presence. It's separate from the land indigenous attachments and very strong tribal presence. Oh, whoops. I read the same thing twice. I'm learning how to read over here. The house is owned, helping the healing the spirit. Okay, so in that instance, so she's asking about, could you just go start healing the land? With not physically, you can't physically, because again, that's their property. If someone walks into my yard, I'd be like, excuse me, what are you doing here and what do you want?
Right.
Energetically, you have to ask permission. And there are ways to do that. You ask permission, and if you get the permission, then you can go forth and do it. And even with that, if you get energetic permission from whatever spirits are there, the land, whatever, and you don't get it from the people, there's only a certain amount that you can do. And Spirit's very good at, nope, this is your lane, you stay in it, we're going to work here and not here.
Right.
if you get everyone's approval, and that's of course the best. But yeah, so you can ask for, and that's with helping spirits too. So yeah, there's asking for permission.
Yeah. Always have to have permission.
Yes. And that's even if you do a reading, anything. If someone comes in and we don't do relationship readings, but
No, we send those to Nan.
yes, we do, because she's fabulous at them. But let's say someone comes in and they're really distraught. They have someone at work who's just, they just can't get along with them. What do we do, etc. You energetically can ask that person permission to just kind of look from the outside. You don't go in. You don't find out what their childhood was like. You don't find out anything other than what's sort of out in the open. And that's what you can read.
And that's only if you're given permission.
Yes. If you're not given permission, you back off and you just say, okay.
Yeah.
But also, if you're coming in because you have problems with this person, I'm going to be more focused on you anyway, because you have some healing to be done.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anyway.
So,
did that
great question.
Go off there somewhere. What are your ideas on deity spirit guides? Ascended masters, or they even sometimes are called ancient ones.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-theists have many gods and goddesses they look to for help, and many people report having deities as guides in their practice. Yep.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
suppose it's an extension of question 2, non-human guides. Well, but most of deities, etc., have had a human life in one form or another. It may not be what they are now being praised for or whatever, but they have had some sort of human life. Yes.
Just took the words right out of my mouth. Actually, no.
But they're even like old, like Egyptian times. Horus, Ra, etc. Those are all beings that you can call in, and I don't know if they actually had human lives or not. I don't know if that's... I don't know. As he's standing right here. Hey, Horus. So he's saying he has had a human life. He has had a human life. So yeah. Okay. Sorry. I got a little sidetracked there. All right. Did that seem to answer those questions,
I think so. Billy Dre, great questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Clara.
Clara.
Aw, you're welcome. We love answering these. Okay. I've heard of the term spirit guides being used before, and I was wondering, what exactly do they do? Are they human spirits? So we put these sort of together because they were very similar. So we might have already answered some of these questions, but we'll just... can they be non-human? Okay, we've already answered those. But what do they do? Okay, that's do you want to start?
That's a big one. They help us see things with more clarity.
Okay.
Things in our life. They help us look inward to our own wounding and our own traumas, and
all because what we want to accomplish in this life is their top priority.
Yeah.
To help us get there. Okay.
Yeah.
And they do it by those things.
They are guiding us to live our best life, being our best selves, for our highest good and for the highest good of everyone that we come into contact with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their total support system.
Total.
It's amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they will also, they're funny. They'll make you laugh when you need to laugh.
They'll hold you when you need to cry.
Yep. Yeah.
And whether they are ascended masters, whether they are animals, whether they are a person we knew in life that has crossed over, those can also be guides. They don't typically last your entire lifetime.
Correct.
They're more coming in for like certain lessons and such, but they sure can be.
Yeah. My father was one of my guides for about 5 years. I think I've mentioned that before. And he was an amazing guide. But his purpose coming to me was for me to come really come into my gifting and to have confidence in that. And before that, I think I've talked about this before, but I kept saying, yeah, I don't want to work with those spirits. That's not me. I'm not going to work with those mean thing, whatever. And it was my dad that came in, and he's standing behind me. Sorry. I cry every time. Whew. And his purpose was to, that is what I'm supposed to do here, is work with those. And so his purpose was to really to kind of get me there. And he has. So I don't see him nearly as much anymore.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah, I know that feeling, and it's his vibration. I can feel it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she knows him well too, because he's
it's fabulous.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to say on spirit guides. Mm-hmm. Animals can be a very powerful spirit guide. One of my spirit guides is a gorilla. Mm-hmm. I have come here to master humility, and this gorilla comes to me when I need him to take my ego out of the picture. He removes it. He puts it in the corner and guards it so I can't take it back.
That big old hand just comes down and like whoop.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And he has been a huge influence in my spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I think we're this one.
Okay. I've also heard that human spirits can send signs, but can pets and animals do the same? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. I had a pet pigeon that passed away about 10 years ago, and I recently noticed that street pigeons, tend to hover, follow me, regardless if I'm close or far from home. Could this be a coincidence? There's no coincidence.
No coincidence.
If you people keep saying coincidence, I'm going to freak out.
No coincidence. So, Clara, look up
Pigeon Totem.
Pigeon Totem.
Or Pigeon Spirit Guide. Either way. Find a site that feels good for you when you look up.
Yes, because there are so many.
Yeah. Some are really good, some aren't.
Yeah. You'll find one that speaks to you.
Yeah.
And pretty sure there's going to be a message in there for you.
Absolutely.
So, good question.
Is it possible for your abilities to fade or go away completely? Fade, yes. Go away completely, no.
Unless they're taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. There are people who are not very ethical, and they can be
removed, stripped of.
Until you learn your lesson, until you heal, and then they can come back.
Yeah.
But the fading, sure, because it's like any muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But not lose it completely, but it fades.
Yeah. It's like, you play the piano. If you don't practice, you're not going to be very good at it. It's
going to be a little clunky. Yes. So, I believe it was Pam that mentioned she has had students before. Has Mari-Lyn had any as well?
Yes, I have.
Is there a special process for either of you of how you go about choosing them? Yes, for me. Well, I mean, for you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It is, for me, there has to be a mutual, lost my word.
Yes. a fair energy exchange, and that there's a fair energy exchange that there, because I've been doing this for a long time, and one thing I know is when I first started teaching, I thought I could teach everybody. Like, I just thought everybody has abilities and I can teach you all, and I ended up just hating it because people don't always want to put in the work. They don't want to do what's necessary. Healing is a huge part of developing the way we do it.
Yes.
Huge. And so if you're not willing, it's just not going to happen. Or they don't respect the teacher's time and energy. They don't practice. They don't, so yeah, there has to be a fair energy exchange. We have to feel like that you want to be there, that you're doing the work, etc. So
a mutual appreciation for the process.
Beautiful. Yes.
That is my basis.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
And So.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. People in the autism spectrum are more open and sensitive. Yes, they are. Is that true for people with other mental conditions like schizophrenia? Oh, especially schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And what's sad there is
it's misdiagnosed.
It's misdiagnosed.
So often.
Yeah. And it's sad. Yeah. Or there's a little bit of both there. Maybe they do have a mental disorder and they have abilities. But, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Stories of psych nurses who used to have patients, they could deceased.
Yeah.
So she said, I guess it's not just reading it for, there are people, sorry, I think I keep doing that. Okay. Psych nurses who used to have patients that could see deceased residents, even though the patients themselves sometimes weren't always 100% aware of their environment or the hospital's past residents. Yes.
Yep.
So, and then just thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. Some great questions.
Yes. Okay. Tracy Hugh.
Okay.
Hey, Tracy. Tracy's one that comments a lot, so I feel like we already know you. Okay.
All right. I had asked about reclaiming soul pieces. In your experience, what is the best way to begin that healing? I am reading an interesting book, and in it she lays out a case for having a guardian spirit that is only for you and a fluctuating spirit guide for the lesson you need to learn. Once learned, they move on to someone else and a new spirit guide comes in. The author likened spirit guides to teachers. Has this been your experience? How can we learn to trust our intuition?
Her perception on spirit guides is not exactly mine, but that's okay. She can have a different opinion on that. I'm fully fine with that. Yes, absolutely. They're teachers, they're healers, they're whatever you need them to be for your highest good, that's the way they're going to be. As far as soul pieces, anytime you heal old wounding, whether you're going to, talk therapy, energy healing, meditations, there are all sorts of ways when that open wound, that programming from childhood, the trauma, etc., and you start healing that, your soul pieces do come back. They in energy healings that we do, there are times when that is specifically what we're doing. We're going in to get those soul pieces, but if you're not ready to heal it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's really about healing. They will come back at the time of healing. I know you have. So again, we talked about it, but I did guided meditations for a lot of years, and they're not just guided meditations. They are they are so much more. They help you develop. They help you heal. They are shamanic journeys. They are, they'll take you past lives. They're healing. I mean, it's everything all in one. Fred has created them, and I'm fortunate enough to be the conduit, the guide for that. So,
yeah. And it's fabulous.
So, soul pieces come back when you're ready to have them back, and when you heal that wounding, and they won't come back until you're ready.
Yep.
So, great questions. Thank you.
It is.
Oh, and how do you learn to trust your intuition? When you find out, tell me. Yeah. But you do get more trust as you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one way is to love yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you reach a certain level of self-love, you trust your intuition beyond anything, I think.
Yeah.
At least that's been my experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Healing and self-love opens up the gateway to so many possibilities. And trust is definitely one of those.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you.
Thank you. I was listening.
It's funny what happens when we listen. Yeah.
You know, sometimes they remind me, it's kind of like, they're taking my necklace and they're pulling me like, hey, listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say one more thing about the spirit guide. And coming, once you learn the lesson, they move on. I have had an experience where a spirit guide has come to me to show me a lesson that I need to learn. But it was not that spirit guide that helped me through the lesson.
And you can always call them in anytime you want.
Always. I mean, I could have asked them to stay.
Right. No, I'm just with her question.
Yeah.
They don't just it's never not like you won't ever see them again or anything.
They don't peace out.
No. And you have some spirit guide, like I know when like Athena comes forward. Oh, I'm going to a past life. I'm doing some work in some past life. So you have sometimes you have spirit guides that they're really sort of geared towards certain things. And I don't see her all the time, but she hasn't gone. I can call her in. Well, she's here right now because I said something about her. Hey, sister. But so it works that way too.
So thank you, Tracy.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Rosewater Moon. Okay.
Shattered. Okay, you mentioned seeing pieces of shattered soul in the Sam and Colby Lizzie Borden reaction video. Are those pieces able to be reunited? Absolutely.
Yes.
For example, for a living person, would energy healing help those pieces come back? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But also what we talked about.
Yeah.
The healing.
Yeah.
And now sometimes what I'm being reminded of, thank you, Fred, is sometimes, and it's not all the time, but you can go through a soul retrieval, they call it, and whether that's from a shaman or a multidimensional energy healer, etc. Sometimes getting that soul piece back first is the foundation for then doing more healing on it. But it's still not going to come back unless you're ready.
Yeah, that's not the norm. That is definitely not normally what happens, but sometimes.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great questions.
All right. Carissa.
Yeah. Oh, okay. More healing questions.
Okay. Does shadow work have the same effect as Reiki energy healing? Those are two different things. Shadow work is that's a term that's used, like we use the word healing, we use the word wounding, we'll use wounding and trauma, that's shadow work. So just to let you know that those are the verbiage that we use. So anytime you're doing your healing, you're working on your shadow, and you're healing that wound and trauma. Energy healing can always help that. Yeah, energy
Yes.
work can always help that. Whether it's someone who does Reiki, or like us, the multidimensional energy healing, which we are Reiki masters as well. We just don't do Reiki.
We don't, yeah.
So Reiki is really a hugely broad term, and it just means energy healing. Yeah, but
it is kind of in a box.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's, yeah. So,
Or is energy healing the purest form one can have done to truly heal those traumas and put those scattered pieces back together? I think it's a beautiful way of doing it. It's not the only way. Again, if you're healing, you're going to get those pieces back. Even if you're in talk therapy, you've never in your life heard of energy healing. We prefer energy healing, so that's our preferred way.
I gotta say, energy healing, in addition to other types of healing,
Absolutely. Because we're not instead of. It's in addition to.
I think it's in addition to, or other things are in addition to us, maybe.
Correct. A lot of things all work together.
Yeah, they work together because things are so multifaceted. We're not just one dimensional.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to say energy healing is, the purest way, the best way, the only way. But
We'd be lying.
we're just, I like to say, I'm going to say right now,
Yes.
we could be the icing on the cake.
I like cake and I like icing, so I'll take that.
I don't know. Well, just keep moving.
But we're gonna let this run through her because she's
Something's got to go. Ooh, okay.
Great question. How can you tell when you're actually meditating?
Ooh.
Yeah. As opposed to, so there's a whole story here. It's a beautiful story. I'm not going to read it because I think this was actually emailed to us, so I don't want to, it's a little personal. So meditating versus a shamanic journey versus astral projection. That those are all dreaming. That was in here too. So
okay.
those are all when you're not even that, when you're communing with spirit and you're in receiving mode. It's all about receiving.
Yes.
That's how you know it's meditation, whether that's guided meditation. What's the one where you sit there and you try to not think of anything?
Mindfulness.
Yes, that one that I can't do. I try. Okay, I
Right.
do try it, but then my guides are like, "Whoa, she's listening. She's not talking." And they come and they just start feeding me information. So
Yeah.
it's no bueno for me.
Yeah, I think that was beautifully put. When we're communing and in receiving mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to say something about this, and then
Okay.
she said was she was dreaming possibly, but she was traveling. What she was imagining was that she was traveling through the birth canal, so she re-experienced her birth. The birth experience is extremely traumatizing. So what I can say, and this has happened. I've had this, I've witnessed this happening. to people, not just, I mean, I've given birth myself, but and been birthed myself. So, but I'm talking about like in meditation and so forth. And that's a form of retrieving a soul piece. There was some trauma there. There was some trauma when it happened to you, when you were, I think you, in this thing you said you were dreaming or you were in bed, whatever, sleeping, and there was this really high vibration and happening. You were experiencing that, and you needed, for whatever reason, your soul needed to go back and re-experience that to change the way you thought about it, is what I'm getting. So what happens sometimes is in like past life regression, even in present life regression, we will go back to a situation. You go to that traumatic experience, and what you're asked to do is to change the experience to something else. Change that energy to something. So instead of, like, let's say you got beat up, like physically beat up, we take you back to that situation, and this time you stand up and you say, no, that's not happening. That person stops, whatever it is, you change the situation. So then that's similar to a soul piece recovery. And then as you move forward, you still have work to do on that wounding, but it's not as triggering anymore because you healed that part. I hope that made sense. Did that make sense?
It made sense to me.
Okay. So that's what I think you did. Is you went back,
and it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah. Thank you, Carissa.
Wonderful. So I got a little message from my gorilla that little laughing episode I had was because he took my ego out, because I was starting to get a little ego-y there about the whole energy thing.
I love him.
I do too. And yes, he is a great, big, monstrous gorilla.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. These next questions, these are about animals. So we'll see if we've already. Alexa.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
Could you provide any information on what sleep paralysis is? Yes. And if there are any spiritual connections with this? Yes, yes, yes. What I believe is different than what, like, a medical doctor will tell you, that there's some sort of glitch in your brain or something. And that could happen. I would think. I'm
sure.
We've said this before. We don't rule anything out because nothing is 100% and we get proven wrong. So all things can exist at the same time.
Yes.
In the metaphysical world, sleep paralysis is your physical body, your deva, wakes up before your light body is back in your body. So when we fall asleep, our light body goes, woohoo, jumps out and it's off traveling. And so in the metaphysical sense, your body wakes up for whatever reason. Maybe there was a knock at the door, or something happened and your light body didn't get back quick enough. And there's that moment of panic and fear, and you can't move. And you can't move because your light body's not back in there yet to get you to move. So hopefully that answered that question. It is very scary, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, and you went to say the doctors believe that the mind playing tricks on you. Yeah, they'll tell you that. Just poo-poo that. So, do you believe in God? Yes. In your experience, is God real? Yes. Have you ever communicated with God? We do all the time.
Yeah.
So God is everywhere and everything. So
yeah, the word God has created so many connotations for people.
like some old man in the sky in a big chair,
Yeah.
like judging us.
When we say spirit, source, those types of words, universe, universal energy, we're talking about God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that I use the term spirit is because that feels more encompassing of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
So that's why we use the word spirit, but it's for us that's really interchangeable, those words, but not for everyone.
Not for everyone.
Not for everyone
at all.
So that's why we're careful with the words.
Ooh, a complex question.
Okay.
What happens when we die?
Oh, well, so the short version, which we've actually kind of talked about a little bit today. Do you want to start that, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
So our light body leaves our deva. We do tend to hang out for like a week or so, in sort of in close to the third dimension, and if the funeral happens in that time, we go to our funeral. We kind of check on people. We're kind of getting our bearings. We know we're gone because our spirit guides, our family, and everything. Who are in spirit come and you're talked to and everything, and then from there you go up. And when I say up, it's really not up, but that's the way our brain sees it. You go through a time of healing. They cocoon you, and there's a lot of trauma of being in a physical body, and some lives are more traumatic than others, but either way, it doesn't matter. You go through a cocooning and you go through a healing to restore you to that high vibrational loving being that you are in spirit. And then you go through a life review. So you have to go through every minute that you were here, and you have to go through it. And even the icky stuff, like when you may have screamed, like you got triggered or something, and you screamed at someone, or you were mean to them, you feel that. And so those are all lessons. And so it's all about the lessons that you learned, that you didn't learn, the karma, the contract, blah, 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 blah. So you go through that.
And that all happens in spirit time.
Yes. Yeah.
Not 3D
Right.
Earth
Right.
human time.
Yes. So if you have a loved one who crosses over and you're like, why haven't they come into, give it like 4 to 6 months, and then, so that's what happens. And then, that's what happens when you die.
Yeah.
That's our belief. If that's not your belief, we're totally fine with that. And we know that other people have different belief systems.
Absolutely.
And it's okay by us.
Can you communicate with animals? Yes, whether alive or passed over. If so, how? Animals don't speak English, so do they give you feelings to communicate with you rather than words? Or can they show you images in your mind? Do you have any stories to share about communicating with animals?
That's the same as communicating with people who in life spoke a different language than us. Spirit just translates. I don't know how else there's just a translation that happens. Yeah.
It's kind of like Star Trek. Star Trek has all these different species, but they all understand each other because there's a universal translator. That's how it is. Universal translator.
Yep. Now, I have just a quick story on that. So Nan, who we've talked about, she speaks 3 languages, and I remember asking her one time, how do you get that information? Like, how is it coming to you? In what language? Is it the language you were born into? Is it the language that you learned as you growing up, or in English? Because English is her 3rd language. And and she was very thoughtful about it. She went, it just is. It just comes to me. And that's exactly what happens in these situations too. It just translates, and you understand it. So it doesn't really come in words. It's like talking to angels. Angels have their own beautiful singing. It's not a language. There's no words or anything, but you can talk to them just fine because it's translating.
It's translated. I communicate with my cats. I always have. It's just knowing.
Yep.
It's just a knowing.
Yeah.
And we have a cat, gosh, she's been gone now for probably 20 years. Every once in a while, she still comes and walks through the house. Usually it's when I'm not present in life, when I don't tend to dissociate much, but when I'm kind of in that frame where I'm not in my body, I'm not really present.
Which we all do.
Yeah. And usually that's because I'm not dealing with some wounding. But that's usually when she'll come in.
Aw,
And
thanks, kitty.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm actually glad to say I have not seen her in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for that question. That was fun.
Do your loved ones who have passed away and crossed over visit us? Do they visit us frequently? We already kind of talked about that. So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah.
It depends on what the learning is there. It's all about learning and healing. When they visit, do they stay for days or do they briefly visit for a few minutes? It's spirit time, and it's they sort of. So it's not like I have another like Star Trek when they don't like beam down and then they have to stay until they can get beamed back up. They're just sort of in and out.
Yeah. It's not like they come spend the whole weekend and
bring their luggage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. When you are both out in public, do you see people with family members who've passed away? I don't stay open when I'm out in public.
Yeah, I don't any longer.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No.
No.
So there are a lot of reasons for that, but
my own sanity is one of the biggest
that's
ones.
the biggest reason. Yeah. So no. Every once in a while, usually it's when Mari-Lyn and I are together. If we're out somewhere, we'll be eating or something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, hello. But we try, and we don't shut it down. We just tune it a little off.
Tune it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not off, but just not tuned in. And it's really for our sanity, and I don't want to know everyone else's stuff.
Yeah, me either.
Well,
yeah. How can you distinguish spirits from humans when looking at them? I don't see spirits like I see Pam
they're
sitting
not
here.
solid. It's not a solid person.
I've heard of people seeing them as solid. I don't know anybody that does, but I don't. Yeah. So.
I would look at their feet. Because they're in another dimension, so their feet are not gonna be like really on the ground.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they look like? Boy. Sometimes they look like the person.
Yeah. If they're earthies, they're going to represent that life that they were just in, that they haven't totally crossed over from. They're going to look like that.
Sometimes I just see them as energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even see them. Sometimes I just feel them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And she's more clairvoyant than I am. I'm more claircognizant, which we've talked about. And so I have more of a sensing or that quick flash, and then I know. So, great questions.
So, yeah.
And
very
you're welcome
great.
for taking your questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for asking them.
Yes.
And then...
Roxana, we already
we talked about the
that.
photos and information from deceased pets. So thanks again.
Thank you. Okay. Allison.
Okay.
Last page. 1, 2, 3, 4 people, like 4 questions. All right. Do you believe everyone has psychic abilities? Yeah.
I believe we're born with them.
How do we get started on that journey? I would love to meet you both. Aw, thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
I believe we're all born with them, but it's not the path of all of us.
Exactly.
And everyone has a gut instinct, and that's a psychic ability.
It's true.
So everyone has it, but really if that's going to be a part of your life or not is you've already decided that before coming in.
Yep. So if you are an adult and you are just realizing that you have abilities, there's a reason for that. You weren't ready for them.
Yes.
Prior.
And most of us really aren't until you're about 40. Just to let you know. And I know some of you are going, what? No, I'm 30. What are you talking about? I want to. Yes, but you have a lot more living to do. Not that you can't start then, but there's a process just through the years that we've been doing this and watching people.
True.
And in your 40s is really when they come in.
Yep.
Because you've healed, you've been through a lot, you've had a lot of life experience, and you've done the things you're supposed to do.
Yep.
So.
And how do we get started on that journey?
I always tell people start with guided meditations. Guided meditation, certainly my guided meditations. And
Which there are 4 on our channel, by the way.
Yes.
There are.
Find some that you like. I think we've talked about this before, but we'll do it again. Not today, we didn't. But sit up. Don't lay down because you'll fall asleep. If you're wanting to, if you're doing the meditations to develop, this is for development. Sit up, feet on the ground. Go through the grounding process. Most meditations start with getting you grounded. You know, find someone that you like to listen to. There are some voices out there that are just great. I'm sure I grate on some people's nerves too, but find one and go along with their meditation. If they use the word see or hear, and that's not the way you're getting, don't get frustrated or try not to. So maybe you don't see it, but you know it's there. That's the way your clairs work. That's the way your channels are working. Not everyone is clairvoyant. Not everyone is anything. Clairaudient, whatever. So just understand, just relax and allow the information, allow that energy to come to you the way your clairs work, the way your channels work, and start with guided meditation. That's the best way to start on that journey. And if you can heal at the same time, even better, because those two come together. Even if you don't want to heal, Spirit's going to start smacking you around a little bit because it's time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, they go together.
They do. And I want to add with the meditation, I mean, this isn't really an ad because Pam said they usually start with grounding, but really learn that grounding.
Yeah.
Really learn how to get
People
yourself
seem to
grounded.
toss that word around a lot. Oh, make sure you're grounded. Make sure you're grounded. Most people just kind of mean make sure you're present, you're paying attention. No, grounded is when your energy is grounded into the earth and you are solid. And your channels open, they're more clear. There's really, when you get grounded, you know what grounded is.
Yeah.
Your energy is grounded.
Yeah. And it is a process to learn it. But
And then you will use it all the time.
all the time.
We ground ourselves constantly.
Yep.
There's another one. Mina. Hi, Mina. About improving your psychic abilities. So we just kind of answered that one.
Exactly.
And then I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so I apologize.
Lael.
Lael? Okay, Lael. All right.
Thank you for the question.
Oh, that's another one. Can you pick up things from a photograph? We were talking about it. Yep. And some people are better at it than others. But it's all about energy. It's not the actual physical picture. And last question from Marianne. I can communicate using a pendulum and rods with my guides and loved ones. But I would like to learn more about intuitive communication to hear and speak any guide. Okay. Again, the meditation.
The meditation.
Yep.
Guided meditation is...
Yeah. And we might do some more. Mari-Lyn does them with me. We might put some more on our website because they really are Fred really brings it.
He really brings it.
It is, and the ones that are on there are really good, but he can really bring. Yeah, he can really. They're everything all in one. Sometimes it's a shamanic journey. Sometimes it's I don't even know, time travel. It's everything.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Wow.
Was that?
I think that was it.
All right.
Fabulous questions.
Yes. And now the part that you guys have been suffering through this whole thing, or maybe you just zoomed through it all to get to it. Don't know.
All right. I'm going to
do I get
put it
to
up here?
Okay, wait. We'll do this. Okay.
Who's the winner?
Put my glasses on first. It's you. Karen.
Karen. Congratulations, Karen.
Yes. So Karen, email us.
Yes. Email us on our website, theconsciousspirit.net. There is a form in there for you to fill out to get a hold of us.
Yes. So thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I hope we answered your questions as much as you wanted or liked or something like that.
We had fun.
Yes.
Hope you
love
did
it.
too.
Yeah.
And
Never mind. Thank you so much for being here.
Take care.
Bye.